This is in Allah's knowledge. He knows how He created you and to what extent you can do something or otherwise. So leave the judgment to Allah to declare you as a righteous person or contrary. And human beings are not capable of giving a verdict on this regard. So when we say somebody is pious, somebody is righteous, it's only expression of hope. It's not a verdict. An expression of goodwill for somebody, that we hope he is righteous, apparently he is righteous, that is what we can say, not beyond. So to say that much is not forbidden. Another aspect which has to be kept in mind is this, that to hope for someone to be good and to consider someone to be good is not wrong according to this verse. Don't misconceive the meaning of this, because in other places Allah tells you to think well of your brothers and your other fellow beings. So when you think of well of others under the obligation of that verse, naturally if somebody asks your opinion about someone, unless you have a positive evidence to the contrary, you have to say he appears to be a good man. Because the Holy Quran has enjoined upon you to think well of others. So in that sense you can give your declaration. But that declaration will be of a general sort and would apply to every people, or everybody. It is not contrary to the injunction of this verse. What is meant here, don't take undue pride in your self-styled righteousness. Don't declare certain people to be righteous as if you are God and you are passing judgment. For instance, in the community you have noticed, some people want to build up certain personalities and they start this propaganda, that person is a very righteous person. Now that particular style of propaganda is forbidden according to this verse. They pass this verdict as if they were God. They knew that person is better than so many others, so he should be built and others should be brought down. That sort of thing is condemned in this verse. Not generally to say that somebody is good. Not to declare somebody good in one's innocence. Under the instruction that you should think well of others. So keep this in view, then you'll understand the whole import of the verse. Right? Question?
Well, I've got a number of questions and comments to make.
Pardon?
I've got a number of questions and comments.
Yes.
Please. It's come to my notice quite sharply recently that there are some Christians who understand the second advent of Elijah in the person of John the Baptist to be almost a reincarnation, or as if the same soul of Elijah was transferred onto the John the Baptist.
No, but if they do, they have no right to do so, because it cannot be inferred from the biblical account. Neither from the Old Testament nor from the New Testament. So we are not here to cater for all the distorted imaginations of others. This subject is dealt with straightforwardly on the basis of what the author of this pamphlet has found in New Testament as well as in the Old Testament. It's quite clear to the majority of Christians. If there are a few odd men out, there could be some others who may interpret it even differently from this. So we can't, in a small pamphlet, cover all the possibilities, all the views of all the people who have ever read Bible.
Okay.
This is the general view.
Well, the first question actually follows on from this. I don't actually know much about the history of Elijah. Wondering what is the connection between Elijah and John the Baptist? Why is John the Baptist supposed to be the second advent to Elijah?
Well, that question is something which I never pondered over before. In fact, it's quite interesting. One should investigate into this. But unfortunately I didn't. Nor to my knowledge has anybody else mentioned this. We have to study the history of Elijah and the special circumstances facing him and the special purpose which he performed before we can give this verdict, and also we should study in more detail the history of John the Baptist. One thing is very clear anyway, that Elijah was supposed to come again to pave the way for the acceptance of Jesus Christ. Not Jesus Jesus is the personal name, I mean for the acceptance of Christ. So that is one particular purpose. So in that regard, if we further investigate, we may find that John the Baptist in his own time, Elijah in his own time, in his first appearance, did something of that sort, performed something of that sort. So he was chosen as a symbol for the same task to be performed later on in history by somebody else. So that could be a possibility, but I don't know yet, as I have not investigated. But somebody should remind me, you better remind me tomorrow, so that we can entrust this task with to somebody. Yes, please.
Yes. So.
Any other?
Yes, I've got.
Yes.
A couple more. So. So you're saying the explanation of objectives, right?
Yes.
Now he mentions the Holy Trinity. Oops, I think I lost it. Well, perhaps I should ask my previous question, last question, then I'll have it for later. You remember last week discussing about the universe and everything?
About
the universe.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
And we came to the conclusion that the universe is probably everlasting and it repeatedly expands and contracts at least from a theological point of view. That should be the case.
That the universe goes through the same process of ultimate destruction and a renewed regeneration. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yes, that's correct, yes.
The thing that comes to my mind is that when you look at the rest of the works of God, you find that there is always, when something's repeated, that new creation is always more advanced than the previous one. It's more sophisticated,
yes,
more developed.
Right.
Presumably, in this I would have the same characteristic that the new creation of the universe from the old one would be more sophisticated, more advanced than the previous one.
Now, this is a very difficult question to answer, because if you work backwards, you would not like the answer, and the whole issue become a reflection upon the creation of God. Because if you work backwards, that means this universe, when created in the previous time, was less perfect and had less good qualities than it was created this time. And a step further and a step further back, then you will come to the ultimate conclusion that if there was a first time of creation, the universe was in a very bad shape as compared to its present shape. It was full of defects as compared to the present shape. And because you can't say apply a first time to the creation, because if you do that, then Allah seems to be idle before that. So because it has